is Deschamps? I'm assuming he's done. Yeah. Does he really want to stay?
Yeah, he does. He does want to stay. Certainly yesterday he wanted to stay. The federation want to keep him. The players want to keep him. He might still change his mind, and I think he will take a few days now to sort of review.
I'd be careful
happened.
because you're heading for a Jogi Löw situation here. In other words, the guy who wins something, the guy who reaches a final and then wins something, and then the players like him, oh, look, he's won. He signed a contract. And he realizes that just as there really was no market for a club side to take Jogi Löw, and that is part of the reason I think he stayed all those years. But I don't see that there's a big market for Deschamps, frankly, because I think people can look at it and they can see what he brings and say, yeah, he can win with this group of French players, but I don't know if he has the nous to do it at club level.
Yeah, maybe.
And so there is a risk that it goes stale.
There's also the World Cup in 16 months. You can stay for 16 months and you play on the sort of pride code of those players saying, hang on, look, we messed it up.
No.
We messed it up. But you're so much better than that. He said to them after the game in the dressing room, respect yourself because you've achieved a lot already. And, this is bad and this is disappointing. But you're much better than this. And I think for 16 months, it's short enough. It's not the 3 years between 2018 and 2021 for Jogi Löw, for example, which felt like 10 years. This is 16 months between now and
That's a really, really good point.
Do you see what I mean? And then he can play and say to them, listen, show me. Let's all go together, redeem ourselves. Let's be together again. Let's be that group that we were not really in 2021, but we were in 2018. We can go back to that. Let's go back to basic and let's go again. And after that, he will leave. I'm convinced if he stays now, he will leave after 2022. But yesterday, the sources that I got, both from Deschamps and the federation, was that he would stay, but he can still change his mind. But I think the gap is too short between these Euros and the World Cup that I think he will want to stay and get that kind of reaction from the boys.
And so Zizou's going to wait.
And I think he would be happy to wait.
Yeah. And maybe Zizou's got other things in mind. Two other quick things. One is a lot of people on social and so on, it's the insta-pundit reaction, putting a lot of blame on Kylian Mbappe. And saying, oh, look, now he's not going to win the Ballon d'Or, which I don't know if he would have won it anyway. But is that fair? Is it just everything gets magnified in a game like this?
I think it's unfair. I think it's magnified. Listen, he's not perfect by any means. He's got such a high opinion of himself, and this is not a criticism. This is true.
He's very confident.
Yeah,
is what we're
super confident. He is arrogant because I think. Because he's a genius and because for a very young age he had those very high expectations of himself, of where he wanted to be. Even when he was 15 or 16 at Monaco and he was not playing with the first team, he was like, what's up? What's going on? This is not right. I deserve to play. He always had that. I don't think you can blame him for wanting to take the fifth penalty and for missing it. It's not a great pen. It's not a bad pen either. It's a summer save. Okay, I think great players have missed penalties before in World Cups, in Euros. It can happen to anyone. That doesn't make you a bad player. He's only 22 years of age. He's still so young.
I think the argument is, could he have done more in the 120 minutes?
Yeah, there's a chances that he missed.
Was he prepared for the 120 minutes?
He looked a bit leggy, I think. And it's been a long season. But maybe he was too selfish in that game. Maybe he was. And maybe he'd been too selfish to the whole tournament. I just think he was also key on the two Benzema goals against Switzerland. He was key in the Germany game. I don't think he did too bad against Portugal, and he got the penalty that brought France back in the game, even if it was a really, really soft penalty. So I don't think it was all bad during the tournament, although he didn't score. I just think it's hard. And I think, again, for me, anyone who blames a player in a penalty shootout, whether that's Gareth Southgate, Roberto Baggio, Michel Platini, or Kylian Mbappe, for the team losing that penalty shootout, they know nothing about football. Because I think it can happen to anyone. It's a mind thing. It's not a lottery. It's a mind thing. And maybe he was just not there yet for that penalty.
All right, final question for me, just to wrap this, because I am curious about the shootout. Maybe it's happened before, but I just never noticed it. The way the first four French penalty takers all took an eternity before they shot. You can go back. There's like seconds.
But was the referee long to whistle? Because I noticed
no.
it like
From the moment the referee whistled.
Because I thought he took a long time to blow the whistle.
No, but from the moment he whistled to the time, you see it's 3 or 4 times as long as the Swiss players. to the point that I don't know, like, oh, are they, you know, like Pogba's one. I'm like, oh no, is he getting nervous? He's overthinking. And they're like, no. And then they got me thinking, all right, this is something that they practice and maybe they agreed to do, because it seemed weird. Mbappe is the one who didn't then. Has this been a talking point? Has anything emerged on this? Or is this a strategy to wait as long as... Because theoretically, the referee can book you, right?
Yeah.
But then again, it's never actually... I've never seen anybody being booked for taking too long, right?
No, No,
and it does mess with the goalkeeper's mind, right? I mean...
I'd be surprised, because the one thing that I know for sure, Gab, is that
they don't practice this stuff.
Exactly, and this is not team. We've lost the last 3 penalty shootout that we played in, including, as you gladly remember, the '06 final. None of our goalkeepers have ever stopped a penalty in the last 3 penalty shootout. Lloris he touched one, but apart from that, he went the wrong way every single time.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.